Here's Johnny. Well, hello there, social media family. Being of any persons among yourselves, being subscribers and our visitors alike, who are affiliated, associated with, and are representing my own YouTube social media channel, and likewise chat room or comment section. Sorry about how I may be looking like I am a relative or friend of Jay-Z. Anyway, though, getting back to some such other. Yes. Then how you all doing? Hopefully everyone is there's you and yours, family, friends, and me and mine for that matter. It's like all's well that ends well. But then, lately, most recently, I have had to pay a visit to a local medical facility's principal properties of a hospital. Regardless of whether or not I would have to do follow-up at a medical clinic, but then I have been scheduled for an appointment with one. And for what seems to be a lingering general physical health condition of medical symptoms, I don't know what's happening. Hopefully they would finally nip it in the bud. Well, last I was at the hospital, most recently, they were saying in more words or less, it looks like I have some kind of a cold bug or I don't know, something like that. And I feel just awful. Even as a pregnant one time while I try to, get out. The broadcast as we have it here, social media video content. Oh, sorry about that. Then hopefully, your person will feel much better than what I'm feeling like as a pregnant one time. I would have knocked this out much sooner, so far as to deliver message at hand, if it had not been for certain neighbors of mine, the likes, who would, be quite a contradiction or a total opposite of the late Mr. Fred Rogers' children's television program theme song. They're the kind of neighbors that you don't want to have much to do with, if you know what I mean. You two and I fill in the blanks. And as they would be, commonly called, likewise commonly known as the proverbial neighbors from down hell, probably used to see some problem neighbors. Especially with the main one being of a local drug push who has attempted to make my life a living damn hell for the longest. With his creepy, cowardly, faggoty self, representing less manhood than much more familiar, average, cocksucking, faggot, homo, queer, gunk, Peter Pan fairy. Yeah. So much for that conversation and dialogue. And moving right along, I'm going to try to speed dial the present social media broadcast video content so that I can try to lay down and just recuperate, hopefully for my upcoming clinic appointment schedule. It is nothing all that serious, because I should be feeling the best of health, seeing how I myself am no longer drinking and intoxicating alcoholic beverages, neither nor I'm smoking my drug of choice, being the Snoop Doggy Frog Hog Wacko Weed, aka reefer, peyote, or as the medical community would officially have labeled it by term as marijuana. So I should be feeling even better. But then with these neighbors from down hell, that I have, especially the main one being of the local drug pushers. So I wouldn't put it past the likes of them, as I had my suspicion that they could possibly have become or be the main root cause for the, you know, medical symptoms that I had become subjected to experiencing lately, or most recently being of a physical nature. And moving right on. Anyway, though, with the present social media broadcast of video content is regarding making reference, yes, some sort of reference to the late Lincoln Riley being of either a nursing student or a registered nurse who was cold-bloodedly murdered or killed by this immigrant foreigner, regardless of whether or not he himself had entered the country legally. But then more often not, you know how the majority, most of them don't think to go through all the proper policies and procedures or protocol, you know, to enter our own supposed so-called democratic republic or democracy that is especially sitting on its laurels when it comes to reparation payments to be paid out to a certain race of people, being of the black persuasion, as this country was built on the backs of black slaves, and whereas its white children were nursed or suckled, being given mother's milk from the tits of black female slaves who would babysit them. Yeah. Not that I'm wagging the dog or changing the subject, but yes, this present social media broadcast is about how Lincoln Riley, being of either a nursing student or a registered nurse, was cold-bloodedly murdered or killed by the likes of a Venezuelan, as they make up the majority of most of these illegal foreign immigrants who cross our borders, by any means necessary, practically and possibly, and then take benefits away from American citizens, and have been given benefits thanks to the Biden administration that they don't deserve. I hear tell that some of them, have had that their eligibility for American citizenship speed dial. As in you just take a certain amount of time, get anything about drugs, substance of a medication on the market being litigated by the medical community as to the preparedness or the readiness for it to be distributed. I don't want to go into that unless YouTube administrator want to try to think to reprimand me unjustly. When it comes to that of the jab, I'm either for it or against it. I'm rather neutral. I hope not any doctors and nurses had given it to me before I were to get more research studies done on it, do my own homework. But anyway, though, so much for that conversation. And so, getting back to some such other the original subject matter or topic discussion to be debated or given argument with the many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, representing some such thereof. And you all should appreciate this present social media broadcast as we have it, a video content, because I'm still not feeling too well at the moment. And I'm going to hit the sack as soon as possible. And regardless of how I am now a resident or tenant in one of the, not just one of the worst, but in one of the worstest incendiary neighborhood communities within city limits. Therefore, I have not just some such as the worst, but likes of the worstest of proverbial neighbors from down hell, the public news problem neighbors. And make you think about that one vintage classic pop culture song number, sleep with one eye open, or you better sleep with a baseball bat nearby or something that you could employ the uses thereof for self-defense. And not to mention, make sure you still have a working cell phone. Yeah, because I'm not trying to go to a hospital anytime too soon enough again. And a lot of these hospitals, not all of them, like a lot of doctors and nurses, but not each and every one of them, they really don't care for their patients. They're only into that particular profession for the money, as in for the ching ching. Then I have a clinic appointment scheduled, you know, not that far away from now for today. And hopefully they take much better care of me, because this here medical issue is lingering of a physical nature. Then getting back to some such a we had this one nursing student or registered nurse by the name of Lincoln Riley, whereas she was murdered and killed by this illegal Venezuelan foreign immigrant. And as most of the immigrants here, be they entered the country legally or not, are other Venezuelans, and as they more often not enter into our own country or nation or democratic republic democracy illegally, rather than to go through all the proper policies and procedures of proper protocol. And whereas the Biden administration has given them 20,000 in food stamps per person, and likewise 5,000 in cash per person, and I'm hearing that some of them have become eligible for American citizenship, way before the time that is supposed to be a certain time frame period before they would be able to qualify, become eligible, and as well as certain ones have been given offers to join our nation's police force. I'm like, what? And military at that. What a crock. But here it is, you have this one male character of Venezuela, and most of them are criminals, who enter into our country, other likes, and the majority of the foreign immigrants are other Venezuelans who enter mainly or mostly into our country in a legal way. Whereas this one Venezuelan male had decided that, like, he didn't appreciate all the freebies he was being given, and he wanted to show his true colors as a repeated offender, a career criminal, and he had cold-bloodedly murdered and killed the nursing student or registered nurse by the name of Lincoln Riley, and I think his name was supposed to be what was it, Mubarak Escobar? No, sorry about that. Hosea Ubara. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Not that I would be meaning to spread misinformation. And whereas he had went before a judge within a courtroom setting, waived his rights and privileges, to be represented by a jury, and in the presence of likewise the prosecutor and counsel for the defense, where the judge was given the overall say to litigate his legal case and any attorney or lawyer on his behalf, and he was sentenced. Yes, he was sentenced with life behind bars without possibility of parole. that was quite a gamble for him to leave it to the judge to decide his legal case. And now he's really tore up from the floor up, burned up, you know, and 2 lives have been destroyed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a bittersweet victory. But then I'm glad that he's one of those Venezuelans of the likes of the criminal riff-raff who has been taken off of the streets, because I think he could have possibly been a member of the gang. What was it, Tribija, something like that. I can't remember. A gang similar to MS-13. A trumpet tune by Henry Purcell Wednesday. Tren Aragua, something like that. Mm. That's crazy. I mean, if you're just going to come into our country and commit criminal acts or crimes of hate or hate crimes, then why don't you just go back to your own country? We have more than enough of our own share of criminals. We don't need any foreign criminals coming over here to increase the crime rate that our own American criminals could cause their fellow citizens to become subject to experiencing civil and human rights violation offenses coming from the likes of them. Anyway, though, that's all I have to share with you all at the moment. And on this last note of interest, I'd like to say, if you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I will hope you think to do so now. While the blood is still running warm in your vein, but realizing what he himself had done upon the cross of Calvary, on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of Roman soldiers up under the orders of their superiors, religious, political, militaristic, etc. Mainly, mostly religious Pharisees and Sadducees, but then there less was he went to that cross of Calvary to become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me. Don't steal my trademark physical gesture. I'm going to have to copyright it sometime, unless I want to risk it being played by us. Whereas if any of us, regardless of race, walk of life, fashion, society, lifestyle, preference, gender, age, etc., or to profess some such faith in him, from there we become and be blessed in one God, none more ways than one. First and foremost, with his salvation, which is the only means by which any of us can or could possibly become or be a citizen of the kingdom of heaven and enter into the pearly gates, then attempt to bogart our way in there, because our roads do not lead to heaven, like a former ex talk show hostess Oprah Winfrey would say, or anybody like that. No, it don't. Yeah, his is the only means of acquiring Christian citizenship. What I meant to say, sorry. To get beyond the pearly gates, than for some character to attempt to get in there like a rapist attempting to vamp upon a 5 feet line, And his is the only fire insurance gets liquefied down hell. So get God's salvation while you still have time, for tomorrow is not promised to anybody. So you can be blessed for the next world and in this one, and hopefully become a blessing onto another person by sharing with them the gospel message. Peace. Yeah.